Welcome to the Happier Attorney, the channel where we talk about how to create a practice that you love, that fits you, how to make money, the money that you're capable of making while not having to overwork and not be a miserable attorney. What a concept. So I'm Bree DeLong, and I am an attorney. I am an author, a coach, a teacher, and an entrepreneur, an all-around pretty happy person. And in my over 2 decades of practice in my own practice, I learned a thing or two, mostly from falling down and making the mistakes. And I've also learned so much from other attorneys and other business leaders. And now I want to share what I've learned with you and other attorneys, because what we do is important and we can do a better job when we are happier people. So in this channel, we talk about the tools, we talk about some practice management, and we talk about flat fees specifically. But most importantly, we talk about mindset, an attorney mindset, because the tools are actually relatively easy. And that's not the problem. The problem isn't what practice management software you're using or the latest time management program or any of that. The problem generally is attorney mindset and how we're taught to think as attorneys, and how that really doesn't work in the law, quite frankly, but it sure as heck does not work in our practice and in our personal life. And so it takes a bit to kind of shift that attorney mindset so that we can get our practice moving so that it fits us and we are happy and we want to go to work every day. And we're making great money and we're not overworking. There's no need for us to overwork. So let's dive in. We are in January, beginning January, after a pretty rough year last year. And Januaries are all about new chances, do-overs, fresh slates. And boy, wouldn't that be nice for this year? And whilst many of us use this time to set our goals for the next year and resolutions, today I'm going to be talking more about your why and simplifying matter. And we're always going to put values before goals, because what else matters, right? I mean, if you reach the goal, but you violated values and you got there in an icky way, what's the point? And I'm not just talking about ethical rules. I'm talking about your own moral compass. So what we're going to be talking about, again, attorney mindset, what do? We overcomplicate matters. We put way too much on our plate. And then what happens? We don't get it all done, and then we feel like crap, or we get it half-assed done. But it's always in our head. We're always chasing all of these rabbits in our head, and that doesn't work well. So I would invite you just to try a different way. If it doesn't work, you can always go back to being complicated. You can always go back to having a million things on your to-do list. But if that hasn't worked for you in the past, you might want to try a simpler way. So we attorneys are overachievers. And again, that works for us in some aspects, but we're just going to try and tweak that so that we are achieving one thing at a time. And then you can move on. You can always add to the plate. But for right now, let's just try one thing. What is the one thing that you could do this year that would change the game, move the needle, whatever you want to call it? Either eliminate a lot of your issues or make your issues far easier to handle. What is the one thing? Whether it be make X amount of money or use flat fees really well, which by the way is an absolute game changer, complete game changer. Or maybe it's to have your physical health back. Maybe your physical health is interfering with your practice and your life. But what is the one thing that if you took care of that, if you reached that goal this year, everything else would be easier? And again, we're not chasing 10 rabbits. We're chasing one. When you chase one, the chances are you're going to get it. When you chase 10 rabbits, you're not going to get any of them. Keep it simple. Let's keep the goal simple. Not, okay, I'm going to solve world peace. I'm going to, master 10 practice areas. One thing, and keep it simple. And let's be very cognizant of us lying to ourselves. We attorneys lie to ourselves all of the time. And it's not that we're trying to be dishonest. It's just that we sometimes set unrealistic expectations, and we try and maybe do things easier without putting the whole time in, whatever. So let's get realistic and reasonable about what it's going to take to get there. So if your goal is to get healthy, that's not going to take a month, right? And it's not going to take reading a book or just getting that latest exercise equipment. You've probably done that, been there, done that. It takes real commitment. So whatever your one thing is, make sure that you're being honest with yourself about what it's actually going to take and what you think it's actually going to get you. If you think that earning X is going to solve all of your problems, well, I hate to tell you, but that generally is not the case. If you think getting healthy and losing 50 pounds is going to mean that, you're going to, I don't know, go on a date with Brad Pitt, maybe you want to rethink your why. Okay, so get clear on why you want the thing. What do you think this is going to solve? Is that true? If you think that, again, X is going to make all of your problems disappear, you will be happy forever. Let's get reasonable about life a little bit. I'm not trying to dissuade you from goals at all. Let's just have them be realistic and reasonable, because when they're not, and we get them, and then we don't find out that all our problems are solved or we're instantly happy, then we feel like a failure again. At least that was certainly my pattern. And then what's wrong with me? I'm never going to get there. Okay? So figure out your why. And remember, bigger isn't necessarily better. I know I talk to so many attorneys every week and they want to grow their practice, and there's nothing wrong with growing your practice. But look at your why. If you think that all of your problems are going to go away because you hire a bunch of associates, well, why don't you talk to some people who have hired a bunch of associates and see how that works out? Okay? Again, get clear on your why. And remember that small wins, small consistent action is far better than big splashes. Small steps. Again, this is really hard for attorneys. I know. Small steps are what get you there, not big splashes. Small, consistent. Every day I'm going to, say marketing is your goal, your one thing. Every day I'm going to spend half an hour a day on marketing or whatever. Not, okay, once a month I'm going to, spend a day on marketing. Okay, small, consistent actions that are meant to be a long haul solution. This is not a get rich quick, solve all your problems quickly. This is not something that, you can start marketing and think you're going to get returns the next day or the next week. That's not being realistic and reasonable. So go back to your one thing, go through that exercise. What is it? What do you think you're going to get from it? What are the small, consistent steps that you are committed to taking? That you're not just going to go by the wayside come March or April, that you are committed to the entire year or until you reach your goal. And keep it small and realistic. Small steps, small baby steps. So if you have received any value from this video at all, I would ask you to like it, subscribe. I would also invite you to our private Facebook group. It's just called Attorneys and Flat Fees, where you learn about flat fees and, again, about mindset shifts that really help us move the needle. Also, I would invite you to click below and get on my the Happier Attorney email list, where you will get information before everybody else. You'll get special offers and consistent content that will help you shift your mindset from where we used to think of attorneys and overcomplicating and, quite frankly, not being too happy, to creating a practice and a life that fits you and that you love. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next time on The Happier Attorney. Take care.